Hello, so it's John and Mike from Speak the Speech, and today we're going to talk about who we think is hot and who we think is not in the world of communication. We're in May 2019. I'm going to talk about Carol Cadwalladr. Mikey?
I'm going to talk about Greta Thunberg.
So Mike, Greta, she's created quite an impression, hasn't she, in the last few weeks with her talk. What is it specifically about her that you admire?
Yeah, I looked at her again this morning, her TED Talk, because she's there's hundreds of examples of her speaking in the last year, but this TED Talk is mind-blowing, actually. The sorts of things that we would look at in a typical Speak the Speech sort of training day. So a question I often pose is, why do we choose to speak rather than just give out written information? What difference does it make the moment we open our mouths? And when Greta Thunberg speaks, she just has this ability to make it feel so personal and to make it just matter. It absolutely matters. Where to start in terms of what she does technically well? For someone her age, her mastery of pacing and pausing, I would say, is second to none. So she gives an important fact or figure or opinion, and she will just take in her audience and she just lets it sit. And it's like, it's really awesome in the true sense of that word at times, how she can just do that. She also has this remarkable ability. She's very open and honest about her struggles as a child. You know, she was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. She has OCD. She has a thing called selective mutism. And she reflects on that in a way that's, almost invites the audience to sort of laugh, that she only speaks when she really has to, which again is the perfect backdrop to what she's doing and what she's speaking about. She just does things like she sets up this contrast of when she was 8 years old, and she remembers first hearing about the climate catastrophes and expecting it from that moment on to be on a level with a world war, that it would be all over the news 24/7. And then this sort of dawning realization that it just wasn't really in the news at all. So she set up what should have been and then what wasn't. So great use of contrast. I've mentioned the facts and figures, so there's balance. It's not just her strong feelings and opinions about climate disaster, as she calls it, but she backs it up. And we talk a lot about energy. Now, her arms, she generally keeps down by her side. You don't see her arms gestures used very much, but it feels appropriate. What is unmistakable is the intent. So when we speak about energy, we often, a word we use right next to that is intent. And my goodness me, you never for 1 second doubt her intent. So in terms of content, in terms of commitment, I just think you'd struggle to find someone who does a better job these days.
Yeah. And I think the thing that has really struck me is that she's found a way of saying things that resonate and really cut all the rubbish out of this conversation. Like she's got people in there, the very, very senior people, huge world leaders who are listening to her. Absolutely. Because she's cut out all the rubbish. She's just saying it as it is. And it's coming from a child, and as you say, someone who's had difficulties or has difficulties, and yet it's so real, and it's so honest, and it's succinct, and it's passionate, and it's all of those things. And it really has been quite extraordinary to see. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, great. Well, so my one is, it was also a TED Talk. So this was about 3 or 4 weeks ago in April. Carol Cadwalladr was invited to Silicon Valley to talk about Facebook and some of the things that we should be worried about if we're using social media. And the particular reason I thought it was so strong amongst many was because Carol actually shared after the TED Talk that she used to be completely panicky about public speaking. She said 3 years ago, you wouldn't have got me anywhere near a public forum. She said, I hated it. I was shy. I was nervous. I didn't know how to do it. And for me, that's a great example, because loads of our clients say this, I'm not cut out for this sort of thing. I'm not a natural, You don't have to be. And Carol Cadwalladr is a real proof of that, because she spoke for 16, 17 minutes in Silicon Valley in front of a worldwide audience, and she absolutely nails it. And again, it's two key things that she gets right. The first thing is she's really, her content is very, very powerful. She uses the two techniques of left brain, right brain. So what we mean by that is with the left brain, she's thought, what statistics do I have? What facts do I have? So the left brain is our logical side of the brain. But she's also evoked powerful images with the right side of the brain. So she uses stories and she uses examples, lots of examples. She talks about Ebervale. She talks about the 2016 referendum and the US election. So it's full of a mixture of facts and opinions, but also of stories, of examples, of analogies. And I think that's what makes it really good. And then, of course, there's that crucial second ingredient, which you spoke about there with Greta. My God, you watch it and you believe every single word she says. There's passion there. There's a deep-seated conviction. She's really devoting much of her life at the moment to this argument, and you can hear it and you can see it. And she stands there in front of an audience of the people she's actually accusing. This is what's amazing about it. Like, there's Mark Zuckerberg in the audience. All the Facebook and Twitter people are there listening to her criticize them. And if you watch nothing else, please watch the last 5 minutes, because the last 5 minutes is as powerful a piece of speaking as you're likely to see for a while. So that's Carol and Greta.
I think we could move on finally in a moment.
Yeah.
But just to sort of sum up both those speakers and the way they both connect and look into the eyes of that audience. There's this wonderful expression we've come across in the books we read and research. They stand in their own truth. And that's not getting all highfalutin about it, but they just do. They just stand in their own truth. And it's authentic and it's genuine, and we ask our clients, to try and find that. Not always easy with the stuff you guys have to speak about, but find that something that you connect with, and the sky really is the limit.
So there we go. Who's hot in the world of communication this month? Hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and visit our website. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.